Hello, everybody. My name is Olga with GEM Accounting and Tax. GEM Accounting and Tax is a CPA firm that offers tax and accounting services to organizations in early childhood education. Sorry about that. Today, we want to talk about points to consider when choosing a tax professional. Number one, be wary of tax preparers who claim that they can obtain you larger than normal refunds. To be honest, there's no magic that a tax professional will perform to give you a bigger refund than you should receive. So if you meet somebody who claims I can give you 10x number of dollars more than the other tax professional, just put some caution in there. Are they really telling you the truth? Especially if the data that you provided to both professionals is the same, you should pretty much come to the same conclusion. Number two, avoid tax preparers who base their fees on the amount of refund that you will get. Typically, tax professionals charge a standard fee or based on the complexity of the tax return for their services. So a tax professional will not say, I'm going to charge you X number of dollars or a percentage of the refund that you're going to get. Because when you think about it, if you're a tax professional, and of course, if you really don't want that situation where you are necessarily or intentionally making the refund higher than it should be so that you can increase your fees. So really avoid tax preparers who base their fees on percentage of the refund. Number three, PTIN number. This is the number that all tax preparers are going to register with the IRS. So when you have a tax preparer or tax professional that has a PTIN number, it means that they have provided their credentials to the IRS, and therefore the IRS can keep track of these specific tax professionals. So you want to work with a tax professional that has a PTIN number, and this PTIN number should be on page 1 of your 1040 individual tax return. So again, use one that has a PTIN number because most likely they have registered with the IRS and the IRS is keeping track on them. Okay? Whenever a tax professional, this is point 4, whenever a tax professional refuses to sign a tax return, be wary. In some cases, it could be that they are not comfortable with the tax position that you are alleging on your tax return, but if they flatly refuse to sign any given tax return, that should be a red flag. So work with a professional, like I said, who has a PTIN number, and number 2 is willing to sign the tax return. Okay, that is how they tie themselves to that tax return, and if there are any issues, you can call them or the IRS can contact them. Okay, also consider if the professional or the tax firm will be around for the long haul, so for the foreseeable future. So you really don't want to work with a tax professional who within a year they close shop or they're no longer available. Even if they stop working or they close their firms, they should still be available for calls and questions. So please make sure you're working with reputable firms that you can reach out to and that you can research on. Okay, again, back to signing tax returns, never ever sign a blank tax form. Okay, ultimately, as a taxpayer, you are responsible for the tax return. So whatever you sign, once the tax return has been prepared, make sure you understand the contents of that form. So again, never ever sign a blank tax form. Okay, point number 7 is a good tax preparer will ask you all manner of questions. So for example, they want to understand that you're using the correct tax filing status. Are you married? Are you head of households? Do you have dependents? Married filing separate? How do you want to file? And the tax preparer will give you guidance on what filing status you should use. Okay? When they ask you to verify, your income, your expenses, if you had big expenses, like maybe you purchased a large piece of equipment, a car, they should ask you for receipts to support that. If you're running a business and you're tracking your mileage, good taxpayer will likely ask you to give them some evidence that you're tracking your mileage, and some of that mileage can be written off as a business expense on your taxes. Okay. Consider also the tax professional's history. So go online, do a Google search, look at their social media pages. Do they come across as genuine and legit? Those are some of the things you want to look for in choosing a tax professional. And lastly, check their credentials. Okay, so we have CPAs, attorneys, we have individuals who might not be credentialed but are really, really good tax professionals. Such individuals are likely registered with the IRS. So do a search on their names. Do they show up? Does their name show up on the list of approved preparers for the IRS? Just do your due diligence when choosing a tax professional. Thank you very much for your time. I hope this was useful for today. Have a wonderful day. Thanks. Bye.